terms of the study that I'm doing, it's pretty awesome. So I did independent research this past semester with my advisor, Dr. Jeffrey Buxton. He's one of the exercise science professors, and we're looking at animal flow. So this is pretty interesting. It's basically a new kind of like exercise, basically, and it's actually kind of difficult to describe for those who haven't seen it. It's kind of a cross between, let's say, yoga, like almost like breakdancing, like parkour, gymnastics, and I'm trying to think. I don't know. Those are some of the things that make it up. It was developed very recently. I'm trying to remember the gentleman's name who developed it. I can't. It's off the top of my head, but it's pretty interesting. Like you start in like certain positions, and then basically you're transitioning and switching, and there's a lot of stabilization involved, a lot of core, a lot of like being able to extend your limbs out from your center of gravity and be able to hold a position, and then like going back and forth. I mean, the goal is that at the end, like you can do what they call a flow, which is like a continuous stream of these kind of switches and transitions and holds. And yeah, it's actually pretty demanding. I pilot tested the study that we're doing now, and so like I did the workout that we're putting all of our study subjects through, and like I would consider myself generally a pretty fit person. I mean, I usually go to the gym like 5-6 days a week. I'm running, I'm playing sports a lot, and it was challenging for me. I found it very challenging, like sweating hard at the end. It was challenging. Maybe not necessarily in like in ways you would think. It was much more in terms of stability and flexibility and range of motion that it was challenging, but it's a very interesting kind of exercise.
Do you think this is something that could replace going to the gym completely? Because if you going to the gym, it's very good for you, you know, you're ripping your muscles and they're gonna grow bigger, you're running in the gym, you're doing all these things. So like when you, animal flow, like is this something that will change or is so revolutionary that people will stop going to the gym?
At least at this point in time, I don't see it being that. So what we're exploring right now in the study is the caloric output, basically, from doing animal sessions. So just to describe the study for a second, go off on a little bit of a tangent, but I think it'll tie back in. We're putting the subjects, they come in for 3 sessions. They come in for a beginner animal flow workout. So it's like an hour-long workout where basically you start off with just doing like wrist mobilizations and getting flexible, and then you all the way to like at the end for the last 10 minutes, you're doing a flow like I described previously. And then another session, they're coming in and we're taking their heart rate from the animal flow session. So in each section, we're looking at every 10 to 15 minutes in the animal flow session, and we're taking their heart rate and we're having them walk at a pace where their heart rate while they're walking is the same as it was in the animal flow session. And again, we're looking at like their VO2 max, their caloric output, same things that we're looking at when we're doing the animal flow session. And then the third time, they just come in and walk and at their own pace, whatever they find comfortable. They literally tell us, like we put them on a treadmill, we bump it up, we're like, does this feel comfortable? Like, yes, and they just walk for an hour.
Oh.
So we're looking at like, how does animal flow differ from just your average person walking, and like, is the caloric output, like the caloric expenditure, similar to walking? So we haven't really analyzed the data yet, so I don't really have any like conclusions, but we're thinking that potentially it could be. And my professor, Dr. Buxton, again, has already done a study showing that in terms of like flexibility and range of motion and stability, it is highly beneficial. That actually like individuals who, I'm trying to remember how many weeks they participated, but they participated in certain workouts each week for a certain number of weeks, and at the end of the weeks they had a greater range of motion and greater flexibility than previously. So it's definitely beneficial in that way. So in terms of like working out, if you want to get big, it's not the answer.
Yeah.
But in terms of like being functional, so like enabling you to do like daily activities, it is very functional. There's a lot of like unilateral stuff, so you're on one leg, which is very functional. Like when you, like for instance, every day you're reaching or you're walking. There's a lot of stability, so a lot of times you're stabilizing, using your core throughout the day, and of course flexibility is helpful throughout activities. And if our study comes to show that the caloric output is similar to walking, with the increased stability, range of motion, flexibility, I think it is definitely something that, like, especially populations like, let's say, more elderly people, they don't necessarily want to go to the gym and pump tons of iron, but they want to be able to burn calories, stay healthy, elevate that heart rate, and also like be benefited in activities of daily living. Maybe not like super early people, but like maybe more middle-aged people, it could be beneficial in that sense. But I don't think it's going to replace going to the gym. I think it's more something maybe that could even be supplemental to your gym workout.
Yeah, because I know a lot of athletes who, of course, you see them lifting weights and stuff, but let's say Muhammad Salah, probably LeBron James, they do yoga and these type of movements that kind of help them be better in their respective sports. I remember from animal flow, it's called. Yeah, it could probably be something that they could use, I guess to supplement them. But hopefully this study, because you told me it's a new exercise, right?
Yes, very, very recent. Within the last 5 years, I think it's been developed.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the listeners should definitely go check it out. They have a whole website.
Yeah.
If you look it up, and you can even view some of the workouts. It's pretty interesting. I definitely say to give it a try if you have the chance.